Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you all for joining us again today here on Hudson County for the first real, I guess you could call, official episode of To Serve is to Live. This is a series where we will be doing an actual play of the game To Swear on Your Honor by Cat McDonald. And let's go ahead and first we do a little review of what we have done before. So you will notice if you take a look at the YouTube channel that the previous episode of this series, which was labeled episode 1, is actually now called episode 0 because there was no real actual gameplay per se in that episode. So it seemed a little unfair to call it episode 1 when again, there wasn't really gameplay in it yet. Well, first, actually, I guess I should go ahead and review real quick exactly what To Swear on Your Honor is, if this is the first episode of this series that you have seen so far. To Swear on Your Honor is a game where it's a solo sort of journaling game where you play a knight or some other sort of sworn warrior to a liege lord. This liege will influence the story, but of course you are the primary character. At least your knight is, and essentially what you are doing is you're following the career of your knight as they are going through the various perils that the kingdom that the liege sort of rules over is facing, and trying to respond to those as best as you can. Again, just to review a little bit about what we talked about last time. So we had kind of set the stage where essentially the realm is going to be a small kingdom with the feel of an Italian or German city-state, or maybe like, I don't know, if the Netherlands, when they became an independent state, if those sort of little bits and pieces, the different provinces, sections, elements of what became essentially the Dutch Republic, remained more independent than you actually did in real life. So wealthy, lots of trade, lots of coming and goings, lots of intrigue, but not necessarily large, powerful, or unified necessarily. Our liege, we had decided, was going to be a prince or a high noble on a council of equals that leads this kingdom. And since then, I've decided that our liege, at least to begin with, is going to be a very, 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 very young man by the name of Gothello, who may be I think at the beginning of this, we're going to say that they're probably like maybe, I don't know, 10, 11, very young. And they're going to be actually aging pretty rapidly because our knight, who did not have a name when we originally met, but thanks to some suggestions from Cat McDonald, I've decided they're going to be named Ekin de Groot. They have their legend about them, that each of your knight, when you're creating this, gets a legend, which is basically some sort of mystical element or power about them that makes them incredibly successful and powerful at being the knight that they are. Ours is that there's some sort of physical preservation on our knights. That means that they age very, very, very slowly or not at all. Think kind of like Dorian Gray, sort of like basically permanently stuck in a certain state. Something is preserving them, so they have some mission they need to accomplish, or if they don't accomplish that mission, then they're just going to be kind of permanently stuck this way. So yeah, that's the current state of things there. And their emblem is going to be like a branch of oak leaves. I'm going to imagine that they probably have like maybe if they have like a shield or a crest or some sort of coat of arms or something, it would be probably like a small, like sort of like the end branch, like the new growth that you see like in early summer, where you have that little bit of a branch and then there's like 3 or 4 leaves kind of coming off of it, maybe an acorn or two, and then and that's all there is to it. So I'm thinking maybe that in silver on like a green background or something like that is kind of the feeling that I have. So let's go ahead and get started with the official first round of this game of To Swear on Your Honor. So, I'm going to be looking down a lot because I'm going to be looking at my own copy of the book. So essentially, the way that a round of this game works is the first thing you need to do is you need to determine exactly what the peril that the kingdom at the time is facing that you are going to have to confront. Each of these perils is generally associated with a type of geography. So in this particular case, we may end up having to face a mountain peril, forest peril, seaside peril, grassland peril, or urban peril. And once we determine that, then we need to figure out exactly what the cause is of this peril and what the problem is. And those together will basically create a sentence that we are going to put here on the slide. So real quick, I'm going to go ahead and roll a d6 so we can determine which peril, which cause and problem charts we should be rolling on. All of this is randomized. And I rolled a 5, so we will be facing an urban peril, which is rather fitting. So an urban peril. So again, we have two d20 tables. So I will go ahead and roll the first one to see exactly what the cause of the problem is. And I rolled a 7. So 7 says a canny poisoner. Now, the one thing that is important to note is that the cause of our problem is something that helps us determine what the base difficulty of the situation we're facing is, and also what trait this particular difficulty, this particular problem, whatever it is, the cause of this problem is resistant to. So basically, which trait, if we used it, would be, we basically would have a disadvantage at using. Sometimes you might want to do that. Sometimes you might have to do that just because your strengths happen to fall into the strengths of the character you're facing as well, but such is life. So just to clarify, the canny poisoner has a base difficulty of 1 and also resists cunning. And depending upon what we roll on the problem table, this difficulty 1 might end up increasing. So I will go ahead and roll on that table as well. And I rolled a 13, which means it will be going up. It will be going up by 1. So the difficulty we will be facing is actually 2. And the problem we're going to be facing today is desecrating the Grand Temple. So for some reason, this canny poisoner is doing something to basically damage or insult or challenge the sanctity of whatever holy space is important for our, whatever this grand holy space is that's important for our kingdom. Basically, I'm going to put some thought into exactly what the desecration is, and then I'm going to decide which stat we're going to use to start confronting this issue, and then we'll start rolling and see what happens. So basically what I decided is that this poisoner, this individual, has been essentially poisoning the holy waters that are used in the Grand Temple. This is causing mass sickness in the city, as pretty much everybody who visits and has to use these waters, maybe in some sort of cleansing ritual or something, which of course means they have to kind of touch it, maybe even drink it, and that of course would make them incredibly ill, potentially. So basically this person seems to be trying to cause mass confusion and panic. So basically Aiken does a stakeout, closely monitors the source of the holy waters, and once the suspected poisoner has made their appearance, Aiken intends to basically kind of chase after them to catch them, and in order to keep them from getting away, in order to try to get to the root of the problem. Obviously, catching the person would be important, but also if there's some sort of conspiracy behind this or something more going on, It would be good to know that. So again, we're going to be utilizing swiftness because again, we're going to be chasing after this person. That requires using 2 dice. And again, we have to roll either a 5 or a 6 in order to succeed. Okay, and we rolled a 3 and a 5. Which means we did succeed. So basically, we caught the individual. We have caught them, but we have not necessarily come to the root of the matter, and we still have one more difficulty, so we're going to have to do at least one more round in order to try to figure out what's going on. So for our second roll, I think what Aiken is going to do is basically we are going to utilize our gallantry. Gallantry is the trait essentially that you utilize whenever you are attempting to... Oh, yes, sorry, I forgot to mark that we have indicated that we are more trustworthy because of succeeding our swiftness roll. Anyway, yeah, Aiken is essentially going to attempt to appeal to the poisoner's heart through utilizing their gallantry to try to determine the depth of the conspiracy, and in order to try to get the poisoner's help when it comes to attempting to cure the ill that have been, those who had become ill due to the effects of the poison in the holy waters. So I'm going to, again, I need to roll, since I'm using gallantry, I need to roll 2 dice. Aha! And this time we rolled a 6 and a 2. So I have gotten off to a very good start. Again, that was a success because we rolled a 5 or a 6. I marked down a point here for inspiring, and my appeal was successful. So since he has convinced the poisoner to assist the ill, and we have done 2 different checks resolving the difficulty of this action, of this peril. The peril is now completed. However, round 1 is not done yet. Just because we have completed the peril does not mean that we are quite done yet. Now it is time for the intrigue. Intrigue is a consistent thing that will be going on in the background every time after we succeed a peril. We also have to face an intrigue. Intrigues are always difficulty 1. It is a great way to sort of integrate long-term potential situations, explain reasons why some of the perils we're facing are happening, and stuff like that. So basically, I need to just roll a die and to figure out which of the intrigues we will be facing, whether they're intrigues in the capital or intrigues from another land, or rather in another land. And so, of course, we need to roll in evens or odds. I rolled an even, so we're going to be facing perils in the capital. Sorry, intrigues in the capital. Just like with the perils, we need to roll a cause and a problem. Again, this is going to be on our tables here. So let's see, I rolled a 2 and an 8. So the 2 is a famed duelist, and 8 is defiling the ancient barrier. This resists swiftness. Again, remember the difficulty for this is always going to be 1. So let me go ahead and write that down real quick. So basically, I kind of decided that the poisoner from our peril was working in order to cause chaos, because was working for this famed duelist, who I've decided just poetically named René de Lyon. This individual is attempting to infiltrate some of the forbidden places in the Grand Temple, places where normal people are not allowed to go. So yes, I'm going to have to try to work to stop them, from whatever it is that they're attempting to do within these forbidden places of the temple. And I've decided that probably the best stat to use for this would be to try and use cunning. Again, since I am rolling cunning and I have a cunning of 2, I'm going to be rolling 2 dice. Whoa. Jeez, I'm really smoking it tonight. I rolled 2 6s this time. The text actually says, If you succeed, then write down briefly how your knight discovered the true source of the danger plaguing the people and how they felt about unmasking this perpetrator. So, since I am, and obviously we need to mark that we were successful, I'm thinking that maybe there's some dangers in the forbidden spaces that Renee would not necessarily be familiar with, because Renee does not their sort of teachings that are included in maybe a hymn or a prayer, or think kind of like Indiana Jones, where he has to do the the pattern of specific movements and do it correctly, or else he's gonna get chopped up by the spinning blades in the Last Crusades. So yeah, something along those lines. There's some sort of secret that is kind of hidden in the teachings of the religion of this that this grand temple sort of represents, or is a home to, that Rene de Leon is not familiar with, and because of that, we use that against him, and he ends up becoming trapped or injured, or at least in some way that we can capture him. And bring him before our liege, and basically unmask him. I feel that we probably don't learn exactly why he's attempting to enter the Grand Temple, because I get a feeling that deeper conspiracies might be at work. That essentially kind of ends round one. We have completed a peril. We have confronted an intrigue, and we have successfully moved on. And now it is time for us to decide exactly what we're going to be doing with our experience, if we're going to be using any or all of it today. So the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out exactly how much experience we should be getting. Now, whether or not we succeeded in unraveling the intrigue, we will gain 1 point of experience for every difficulty that we faced in the peril step. So yeah, looking here, basically we gain 2 experience points for facing our peril. However, if we take a look at the various things that we can basically spend experience on, the cheapest thing is 3 points. That being remove 1 point of 1 point from a reputation of your choice. So we did not end up having to gaining enough experience to actually buy anything. So we'll be banking this for next time. And that was round one in our our actual play of To Swear on Your Honor. To serve is to live. Thank you all again for joining us again today. Again, if you missed the sort of introductory episode where I talk a lot about the rules and stuff, you can take a look at it in the bar up at the top, or in the doobly doo down below. I will also be including a link where I do a full review of this game, where I go even more in depth into the actual rules and stuff that goes on with To Swear on Your Honor. Again, this is a game by McDonald of Peach Garden Games, and you can get a hold of your own copy of the game on their website, which again will also be linked in the doobly doo down below in the description. So thank you all for joining me again today, and be sure to rate your itch purchases. If you would like to show your support for this channel, or for the Hessens County blog, in the description down below, you will find links to the channel coffee and also the itch store. Please feel free to take a look, and thank you for your support.